problem with verse 4. Now, I don't think I'm pointing the finger, because I too have a beatitude problem with verse 4. But today we're here to deal with verse 5. Today we're dealing with my initial reaction to God calling me out. Are you coming or not? And you know, how should I act to my Father when He calls me out like that? With pride, with indignation, with self-righteous anger? And you say, of course not. This is our Heavenly Father we're talking about. And if you said that, you'd be judging the situation rightly. Because the verse says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Blessed are the meek. You know I have trouble with this one. Those of you that know me know I have trouble with this verse. Because even when I'm not being full of pride, I don't think anybody here would ever accuse me of being meek. But God says that I should be. He told me that I need to be meek. And I said, God, why? Why do I need to be meek? I need to tell you something about when I was typing my notes for this. And I was literally asking God right at this moment, God, why do I need to be meek? And you know what my fingers actually typed? Weak. My brain said meek, but my hands typed weak. See, that's the big problem with the word meek, is we think meek and weak are the same thing. But it's not. We think it is, but it's not. Paper, stick it together. But before I follow that point too far along, I don't want to get too far off the point about why I was asking God, why I need to be meek. God, why do I need to be meek? Well, I didn't have to wait long, because all I wanted to do was keep on reading the last part of the verse. It said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." And I got to tell you, that confused me even more. And I said, after all, doesn't it say in 1 John chapter 2, starting verse 15, doesn't it say, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world? If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of God abideth forever." I say, God, didn't you tell me not to love the world? And now you're promising me that I can inherit it? I can inherit the earth? And I thought to myself, I think I finally found one of them contradictions that non-believers are always talking about. But we know that's not true. We know that God's Word doesn't contradict itself. Right. So there was no doubt in my mind that God doesn't want me to love the world as He described in 1 John. So I must be missing something. I was still having to think about it. It said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Okay, God, okay, I get it. I said, I get it. Meek doesn't mean weak. I don't have to be spineless to stand up for God's Word and what's right. But I still don't understand why I want to inherit the world. That's when it became clear that I was forgetting the relationship between the first part of the verse and the second part of the verse. Remember, the heart of the Beatitude is the being. First be, then receive. Blessed are the meek. What if the world could be meek? What if the whole world quietly stood for what was in God's eyes and resisted those who did wrong in God's eyes? But did it humbly, not in the arrogant, holier than thou, point your finger way that we do as Christians. What if the whole world did that? Then the earth, my friends, would be something worth inheriting. It'd be something worth receiving as a blessing. It would be an earth as God would have it be. And that would be something, a treasure that we could never comprehend. And I started to get excited about that for half a second. For a moment, it was exciting as anything to me. Until I realized once again that we're discussing, and God was discussing with me, our beatitude problem. We aren't meek. We don't seek first to do God's will. We have a very distinct beatitude problem. ask you, what are we forfeiting because of our inability to be meek? And that's where the saddest part came to me. The part that really just tore me out of frame. It takes this little verse with 2 lines and 10 words to being one of the most profound verses in the Bible. What are we forfeiting? We're forfeiting the world. See, this one verse explains in the briefest, most direct route, most abundantly clear reason why this world is lost and dying and going to hell. It's because of us. It's because of our beatitude problem. It's because we can't humble ourselves, and it is because we think that meek equals weak. See, it goes without saying that pride is the number one reason why we cannot be meek. You see, we can't be meek because even if we can get it in our brain, even if we can get our mind around the concept that meek and weak are 2 different things, our pride won't let us believe that the person next to us understands that. So even if we know that meek and weak are 2 different things, our pride tells us that those around us don't know the difference. So we can't let anyone around us make the mistake of thinking that we're weak. People think you are weak and they treat you like you're a doormat. And they trample you and they don't care about you and they try to take advantage of you. God, you can ask me anything you want. Just don't ask me to be meek. I mean, weak. I mean meek. Well, Lord, you know what I'm talking about.
You got me so confused. Go ahead, brother.
I just don't want... And you go on and say, Lord, I just don't want people thinking that just because I'm a Christian, they can walk all over me and do whatever they want, and I won't say anything. I don't want them to think I'm weak. The problem with that is that God's servants are anything but weak. Or at least we're meant to be. You know, when David stood, I'm going to 1 Samuel 17 and 46, when David's standing before Goliath, he was anything but prideful when he said, "This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcass of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with the sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord, and he will give you into our hands." Meek, not weak. When Stephen stood up in Acts in chapter 7, and I'm not going to read all that because when he stood up against the Pharisees and the Sadducees and gave his testimony, and was ultimately stoned for his witness, he was not prideful, but he was anything but weak.
Amen.
You know, when Paul wrote in 2 Timothy 4, 2 Timothy chapter 4, let's look at that. Chapter 4, starting in verse 6, he said, "For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing." He might have been meek, but he was anything but weak.
Amen.
We've got to get ourselves untwisted. See, it's the devil himself that makes us feel like we need to be so tough on the outside so that folks don't get the wrong impression of us.